We want to get back to breaking news on the governor's race. That is because new numbers put Xavier Becerra in the lead, and he has released a statement.
We'll get to that statement in just a moment, but Conan is here right now to break it all down for us. Conan.
We were expecting this. This is what happens in California politics. Usually on the day of election vote, it skews more conservative. And then when you count the absentees, or I should say the vote by mail, I'm dating myself by calling it an absentee, then the Democrats pick up. That's the way it's been. We knew this going in, that most Democrats, a lot of millions of Democrats held onto their ballots late. They dropped it at a polling station on election day or at a vote collection box. So this skews Democrat, and we knew that Becerra was going to. In fact, Steve Hilton told me earlier today, I'm expecting Xavier Becerra to leapfrog ahead of me. The big question is, what happens to Steve Hilton and Tom Steyer? Steyer has eaten into his lead. We can show that if you want to again. Steyer has eaten into Steve Hilton's lead, but he's still down by 5 points about. And that seems to be too much of a spread. The Hilton campaign says we're going to see our numbers. It started at 400,000 vote lead. Just yesterday, it's down to about 300,000. They believe that they will hold. They're not too worried. But that's your game right there, whether Steyer can catch Steve Hilton and make his way to the Steyer campaign is not conceded, and make his way to the November runoff. This is all about survival. I know we have a check mark by Xavier Becerra. That doesn't mean he's the winner. There are going to be two winners at this stage. Mr. Becerra and either Mr. Hilton, looks like, or Mr. Steyer, they face off in November.
You know, Conan, just moments after these numbers drop, we received a statement from Becerra. We're seeing it for the first time, so let me tell you what it reads in part. He said, the people of the great state of California, in the greatest nation on earth, have spoken loudly and proudly. We will not be bought, we will not be bullied, and we are never backing down. November, here we come. Again, that's the statement that was released just moments ago from the Xavier Becerra camp.
Okay, and as exciting as that is, we also got new numbers in the race for California, in California for L.A. mayor. This is L.A., and we want to talk a little bit about that because, you know, we have Karen Bass, but we also have Nithya Raman gaining support.
Yeah. Whoa, Nellie. Take a look at this. Now, so for context, Nithya Raman has eaten into Spencer Pratt's lead. Once again, the votes that we're counting now are overwhelmingly Democrat and quite a few progressive Democrats. She is now down by less than 4 percentage points. Yesterday, she was at 6 points. She was trailing him. From what I understand, she got something like 23,000 votes. 23,115 votes in this last drop that we're just reporting. He got 10,711 votes. So she doubled his vote total. And remember, Karen Bass is already in. We know she's going to the fall. But it's how many more votes can Nithya Raman get over Spencer Pratt in all these new vote drops? And she's gaining. Will there be enough? We still don't know how many votes are left out there. It's probably closer to maybe upwards of 200,000 still left to count in the city. That's enough. And I have to say it. I said this the other day in the prediction markets where people wager on this kind of thing. They're at 94% probability that Nithya Raman will catch him and take the second spot.
And the number we're getting, Conan, is that it's 71% of the votes have been counted. But there's still a lot of outstanding ballots. I dropped mine off earlier in the week. While we were sitting here today, I just got a note. It has been received but not counted yet. I know of at least one other person.
Okay.
It's very slow.
Well, right. And the state is an outlier on this. Something's got to change. The governor admits it. They tried to sign legislation to help speed up the process. Kim Alexander from the California Voter Project says it's a high priority. The Supreme Court may weigh in, as we talked about yesterday, later on this month, on whether or not you can count ballots after the election. But it's a real problem. And here's the other problem. If Spencer Pratt is, boxed out of the November, he will say the same thing Donald Trump is saying. Sure. Donald Trump is saying it's fraudulent. California is at it again. It doesn't help the process. It doesn't help, essentially people's confidence in the system.
Survival of the fittest in the jungle primary is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, right. Well, exactly. It's all about, living to fight another day.
Exactly.
And that's what this #2 thing is all about.
You're
You talked
talking
to Steve Hilton. Yes.
Yes, right.
You've got stereo
actually.
over here.
Right.
You know that.
We interviewed Steve Hilton. He'll be talking about this. He has his own remedy for why it, for elections going farther. And we asked him, listen, if you believe having Donald Trump on your side is so important and such a good thing for your campaign, will you invite him to campaign for you? And we'll have his response on Sunday.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Give us the particulars on